Why is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick, below the surface. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community, living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. For some, their why is a summer under stars, memories and moments, connections near and far. Why is the before work hustle, an after school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. Here, a handshake is a promise. All our hearts are dancing. Laughing is our song. It's kinship, friendship, tide rising with the ship. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Juliet Moffat, Managing Director out of the Chicago office. And happy Black History Month. Today, I have the incredible pleasure and honor of introducing you all to Valerie Barker-Waller, who is my amazing client, trusted partner, and dear friend. Everyone, Valerie.
Wonderful to meet you all. So glad to be here and so glad to celebrate Black History Month with the team at VMLY&R.
Thank you so much for being here, Valerie. You've had an amazing, amazing career. You can read all about her, obviously, on the website. Everyone, ranging from important nonprofits to Fortune 500 companies, a lot of civic organizations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But given the amazing video that we just saw, in terms of finding your why, can you just tell us a little bit about how you found your why?
Absolutely. I think, the short answer is I found my why when I came to work at the Y. But I've had as you've said, a kind of long career, right? I've had the opportunity to spend time in, for-profit, nonprofit, and even civic organizations, and worked across a variety of sectors and have learned a lot and have been able to bring a lot to my work now as the Chief Marketing and Chief Communications Officer for the YMCA at a national level. I found my why in a lot of different places, if I really think about it, right? My first opportunity to work in the nonprofit space was working at Chicago's world famous Museum of Science and Industry. For those of you who live in Chicago or ever visited as a kid, you remember that as the place of trains, planes, and automobiles, a place of true imagination. And I had the great opportunity while I was volunteering on a marketing committee to be asked by the newly appointed CEO if I would consider coming to be the first ever vice president of marketing and PR at that organization. As a place that I can remember from elementary school field trips, I couldn't think of a more fun way to take my time and talent and put it towards something that would help me in some way find my why. United Way was that same opportunity for me, and now the why. Coming here is really interesting because lots of people have a why story, and I think have a way that they can find their why. I've also found my why in contributing to the profession, and over time I've done everything from be a campaign director for the Ad Council, to be a part of the Public Relations Society of America board in Chicago, to being a member of PAGE. I've been a speaker at many things, a mentor at many things, and so that's been an important part of my why. I've also done that through other ways that I've been involved with nonprofits, from Women Employed, an amazing organization that's focused on everything from pay equity to glass ceiling issues, to one of Juliet and my favorites, my work at the Art Institute. I've served not only on their marketing committee, but also on their leadership advisory council. So kind of another place that I get energy and find my why. And then, probably finally, contributing to what is an important family legacy for me. My family is very focused on education. Both of my parents were professors. And so there's a little bit of finding my why in being involved with my high school, my university, my grad school. I'm actually a trustee now of a university, which is a great legacy kind of builder to my family, and have had the chance to even write a few sidebars in a couple of books that are in the communication space. So all of those things have helped me to really find my why. And I think they do connect to the 8 different dimensions of wellness, right? All of the ways that I get energy, socially, spiritually, financially, kind of all of those things are a part of what I think we're talking about today for Black History.
Absolutely impressive, inspirational, aspirational. Valerie, I love hearing about how you found your why. I love hearing you mention United Way. We actually worked together on that business many, many years ago. Fell in love, became fast friends, and fast forward several years later, there was an RFP that went out for the YMCA. And Valerie, you gave me a call and you said, hey, me honestly, is this something you feel like you can achieve? And in that, it was a massive digital transformation part, as well as the brand campaign that we shared with you at the top. And I said, and in no way, no how, in no world could I ever be dishonest to Valerie. I said, honestly, 6 months ago, maybe not, but this was just at the time of the merger when we became VMLY&R. And I said, yeah, we can absolutely do this. This is what we now do. This year, our theme is really about extraordinary opportunities and all of these amazing capabilities that we have. So I just wanted to share that story because I think it's just this great example of what's actually possible with all of the talents that we have and these great partnerships. And we've had a really interesting couple of years since then, Valerie. I mean, we all have, but in terms of starting a relationship, right there, can you just talk a little bit about what partnership means to you and sort of how you've seen us move through that?
Absolutely. The RFP that Juliet referenced, I mean, highly competitive, lots of agencies that participated, and no favorites at all, but VMLY&R was the absolute best choice for us for a long-term partner. And we kicked off the work with great vigor. And as part of that work, the YMCA was spinning up an internal team made up of marketing leaders from across the country, from local Ys, that were going to be a part of helping to shape strategy and guide the kind of vision for the work. And so that for many of you would be like having a whole host of marketers from other divisions of a company work together with the brand leader on advertising. So lots of different points of view and opinions. And that has been a fantastic way for us to get our partnership started, both because the VMLY&R team has been able to be deeply embedded in what the business is like from those local leaders' perspectives, which has been critically important to developing the true strategic underpinnings of all of the work. And not only were we able to deliver that amazing, video you saw as a part of a broader brand campaign, the team was able to help us transform the way we show up as an organization through the development of our new website, which we call kind of the front door to the world of the why. So if you haven't had the chance to check that out, absolutely do so. Go to ymca.org and see the amazing work of a whole host of your team members. But the pivot that we had to do, right? We had to do a lot of this work in the background while we spent time figuring out how to support the urgent and emergency needs of Ys, right? Ys were closing down their facilities based on the health regulations that were happening. I had Y CEOs saying, well, I figured out the 6 feet apart and I've just put caution tape on every other treadmill. And I could imagine that brand nightmare. And I hope you all can imagine that brand nightmare too. And these guys popped in and said, okay, how can we help support what it should look like when you're kind of doing 6 feet apart, and working with some environmental graphics people that we work with, making sure that when our doors were back open, that we were welcoming. When we were able to re-engage people, that we were kind of sharing the right messages, not only about the importance of community and socialization, but the safety aspects that they could feel comfortable about with the Y brand, especially in the midst of that. So, partnership is what makes all of that possible, right? An agency partner that really learns the business, understands the business, cares about the business, wants to be a part of the business's success. That's the kind of partner that we were looking for, and that's the kind of partner that absolutely VMLY&R has shown themselves to be.
Oh, thank you. Harkening back to the campaign itself, as you may know, for the people who are watching today, this was our first national campaign that we did in collaboration with the YMCA. And at VMLY&R, we believe in connected brand, meeting people where they are. Can you talk a little bit about how the campaign was able to do that?
Absolutely. It has been a thrill ride, to say the least, to develop and launch the amazing advertising that you saw, and all of the pieces and parts that go along with it. We started the journey really, as all brands should do, trying to ensure we understood the consumer and the consumer insight that could help us with a really smart strategy. And the team at VMLY&R, along with the team at BAB, who help us with our brand tracking, helped us along that journey. We were able to spend some time really understanding the different types of people that are drawn to the Y. And that's because we have a very interesting business model, right? We are a place that fitness seekers come because they're focused on their health and wellness. We're a place that parents bring their kids for daycare because they are, folks working 1 or 2 jobs trying to make ends meet and need someplace safe for their kids. We're a place that parents want their kids to be after school because they know that it's a safe and healthy and productive environment where they'll not only have the chance to tackle their homework, but maybe be involved in a group sports activity or a STEM class or a play or a dance class, right? We're a place that seniors come and spend the day. It's their new community when they have stopped working and have had a kind of formal place that they spend their days, and colleagues that they spend time with, like Juliet and I do. So it was really important for us to do the background work and understand who all of those folks were. And as we did that background work, including some ethnographies kind of in people's houses and traveling with them to their Y to really understand how the Y was a part of their life, how our brand was a part of their life, we were able to kind of build a strategy with some really great insight. And that helped us to really think about all of the ways that we wanted to visualize the people at the Y, which is kind of just what you saw.
Absolutely, Valerie. I mean, when you take a look at the film, it's so clearly such broad representation there, both in inclusivity and accessibility. Can you talk a little bit about how together we were able to source and find and really truly represent here?
Absolutely. For those that don't know, the Y's mission actually ends with 2 amazing words: for all. And as a part of our brand purpose, we are very clear about all of the dimensions of diversity that are important to a healthy community. And so we had the great opportunity to work with a local Y in Atlanta and have their members, volunteers, donors, and staff be the cast for this amazing creative. So all of the people that you see are real people who belong to the Y. The woman swimming in the pool, that's her morning exercise workout. The instructor that's doing the Zumba class, that's her real job. That's what she does. That's how she excites folks. The two brothers that you see are really two brothers that come to the Y together. One very focused on how he can support the other, and probably vice versa. And even the voice that you hear, the voice is a young woman who's involved in our youth and government program, but who also loves, kind of spoken word and does poetry slams. So we were able to, just by asking folks if they wanted to be in a commercial for the Y, have more than 150 people that immediately said yes to that ask from the local Y. And they are represented throughout the campaign, not only in the video that you see, but in all of the print, all of the social, everything else, because we had both video content and photography content based on folks from the Y saying, absolutely, I'd love to be in a commercial and show people my Y.
It was such an incredible example of the true passion that each and every person, no matter how they are serving the Y, has true passion and commitment to the mission. It was really, really impressive, and hopefully came through, I believe, in a very, very authentic way. There's no other way, really, looking back on it, that we could have done it.
And it, in fact, was such a source of pride for all of the staff at the Y, not only the Atlanta Y where the folks were from, but from Y leaders and Y staff members across the country. There's 250,000 people that work for the Y. Some of them are lifeguards. Some of them are like POW, and they do, instruction in a exercise class. Some of them are volunteers and they mentor kids. Some of them help organize food drives. All of those people are the people of the Y, and the leaders at the Y and the staff at the Y were so proud to see how the Y was represented in that film. And that's a testament to a great creative team and great partnership all across the board with the folks at VMLY&R.
Well, thank you so much, Valerie. Honestly, they were the inspiration for all of it, which is fantastic. Valerie, switching gears just for one moment, the theme of Black History Month this year is health and wellness. And we talk about that in terms of 8 different dimensions. There's physical, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, vocational, financial, and environmental. When I think of the YMCA and how I know it, I think about the Y as filling in all of the cracks that there are in all of their communities, and really answering all of these, or fulfilling all of these dimensions. Can you talk a little bit about some of those programs and initiatives that really do so?
Absolutely. As I heard about these dimensions, I thought the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So beyond our mission, the Y's brand purpose, right? Some of you call it a brand promise. Our purpose is about strengthening community. And we do that really in 3 very specific ways, or areas of impact is what we call them. Our focus around healthy living, our focus around youth development, and our focus around social responsibility. And so when I think about the ways that we kind of, stand in the gaps in communities and make sure that those communities get stronger, the things we are doing fall into those buckets. So beyond kind of the folks that are accessing the building to get on a treadmill, we have a whole host of classes for folks that kind of meet them where they are and help them achieve their health and fitness goals. We have programs for people that are challenged and dealing with a whole host of things from managing their blood pressure more effectively to preventing diabetes. We even have a program that is focused on cancer survivors and making sure that those folks can feel at home and can get themselves back to the place that they want. We see challenges not only for adults and even seniors in that space, but we see kids with challenges these days. There are high rates of obesity in our communities. So we even spend a little bit of our kind of healthy living time thinking about ways to support kids and their battle to get to a healthier place than they might otherwise be. When we think about our youth development work, right, it's everything from ensuring that kids have mentors to them having the opportunity to participate in after-school programs about our government and civic responsibilities and STEM-oriented things. So all kinds of ways beyond our youth sports programming, which is enormous, for kids and teens to be involved at the Y and to kind of find their why, I guess, in that. And then when we think about social responsibility, this is an organization that has always been and continues to be very focused on community well-being in that space as well. And so, we see the homeless situation. We see the food insecurity that exists in our communities. And, we do things to step in the gap there as well. Especially during COVID, people may have seen that work that we do even more than they saw other things that we do. Some of our gyms got converted into places for the homeless to stay during COVID. We had lines of cars down the street providing families with boxes of food who were maybe on the edge and who ended up in the kind of circumstances of COVID with one of the folks in their family not remaining employed. We made sure kids who get breakfast and lunch at school had breakfast and lunch because schools were closed. So many things that are a part of that social responsibility agenda for us. Very importantly, because those are things that help to strengthen a community. And, back to the point of the why kind of standing in the gap, we stood in that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so interesting thinking back on these past 2 years when so many brands closed, shut down, didn't do possibly the right thing. A spotlight, as you mentioned, was really shown on the YMCA to sort of guide us exactly on our mission forward. So are we done? What's next for the Y?
I think the Y has a bright future ahead, right? I think that these last couple of years have really been a challenge for Ys. As nonprofits in the community, just like many other organizations and businesses, right? We were closed for periods of time. The economic challenges that came from the COVID pandemic were not lost on the Y. So many Ys lost sources of revenue. They lost employees and are struggling to kind of get fully staffed back to be able to, have enough camp counselors or enough lifeguards for the pool or all of that. So I think we, like the rest of the country, are recovering from COVID and are really focused with a brand new CEO at the national level. And I think renewed vigor from the local Ys on our path forward. We know what we were able to do in our communities to support them over the course of the last couple of years. And it was everything from making sure that, emergency workers and first responders had a place for their kids to do virtual school, right? You can't take your kid your police car if you're a police officer and they need to do their third grade Zoom class. So we were that place. We made sure that we were checking in on seniors who were socially isolated and that someone in the community was making sure that they were safe and healthy in the midst of COVID. We had virtual learning spaces that were set up to ensure that, kids whose parents couldn't stay home with them or that needed extra support because of technology or technology access actually had a place to come in and do school. So we did all of those things, and I think we know that those are the things that really do help a community in addition to our healthy living programs that help for community wellness and our youth development activities and our kind of social responsibility efforts. And I think we're going to double down on that as we think about our next strategic plan, really thinking about how we are at our core an organization that strengthens community. We're just at the beginning stages working on that plan, so not sure where it will take us. But I think being able to be proud of the important work we did in communities over the last couple of years, and knowing that, again, we stood in that gap during some of the most challenging times and made sure that our communities stayed strong, is a big deal. And I think a bright light shined on that allows us to see what the future might hold for the Y.
Valerie, I am so proud of the work that we've done together. I am so proud of everything that the Y has been able to do for so many communities throughout these past 2 years, through the history of the Y, and everything that we have to look forward to together. And I know we're just getting started. This first national campaign is a first step. And I know together we've got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be an amazing future. I'm so grateful for you coming here today to speak with us, and I thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, I can't thank you enough for inviting me to be a part of this important Black History Month program, and for the fantastic partnership that supports everything that we're doing at the Y. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Everyone, I hope you have a great day and enjoy the rest of Just Add Flava.